This tutorial will show you how to set up your goals and outcomes page, which is the second tab on your main menu. So go ahead and navigate to this page, and we're going to start by working on the first two items in the checklist below. So these two items are asking us to put in at least 3 short-term goals and 3 long-term goals, which can be about pretty much anything. But to give you guys some ideas, these goals can be about school, they can be about career, finances, health and wellness, and whatever else you can think of. So to start, go ahead and just hover over the short-term goals, and you're going to click once, and then go ahead and double click, and you'll see your cursor blinking. But to make sure that we're actually going to work with the first bullet, then click in front of the first bullet. I'll be giving you lots of different ideas for your short-term and long-term goals. You don't have to use all of them. Some students may want to make all of their goals educational and career goals. So these are just to give you different ideas for your goals. We're going to start with a financial goal. So you're going to just delete the brackets and question mark and put in a financial goal that you might have. So for example, it could be to save $100 every month. Once you have your first goal in, you'll use the down arrow to just move to the next one, or you can click in front of the bracket and delete that. Your next goal could be an educational goal. That could be to get a certain GPA every semester. Then your next goal could be a health or wellness goal. So for example, mine might be to eat more vegetables every day. If you want to add more short-term goals or long-term goals, you can always hit the enter or return button to give yourself an extra bullet. So maybe my extra goal is to exercise at least half an hour every day. Once I have that in, I'm going to hover over to my long-term goals, click once, then double click, and then click in front of the bullet I want to work on, and delete. Let's say we're going to start with a personal goal this time. Your personal goal could be something like getting married. Your next goal could be a career goal. And then your last goal could be a personal goal that you've had for a while, or a life goal. Once you're done, go ahead and just click to the right to get your prompt to pop back up. And you can see that we finished our first two checklist items, and so the next one would be to read through the learning outcomes and to list any courses and corresponding assignments that you feel helped you to achieve those learning outcomes. So we're going to scroll down so that we can see the general education learning outcomes. The best way to tackle this part of your ePortfolio is to do your assignment first, then come back to this section to list it underneath at least 2 of the learning outcomes. With your assignment in mind, ask yourself if your assignment covered any part of that learning outcome. If it does, make sure to list your course and assignment right underneath that learning outcome. I'm going to demonstrate using a Math 1050 mortgage project, but you should be thinking of your own assignment to list. As I'm reading through the first learning outcome, I need to decide if my assignment helped me to communicate more effectively by helping me to develop critical literacies as listed, or organizing and presenting ideas and information, and lastly, to help me to understand or use elements of effective communication in interpersonal, small group, or mass settings. Let's say that my mortgage project happened to be a small group project where we then had to present the project. If that's the case, then I'm going to definitely list my class here. Even though you wouldn't think that a math assignment would help you to communicate more effectively at first, but in this case it does. So I'm going to just click in this area here until my blinker shows up, and I'm going to delete the brackets as well as the example course here, and I'm just going to replace it with my own course. Then I'm going to put in the name of my assignment, which might just be signature assignment for your case, but every assignment is a little different, and mine is very specific. It is the mortgage project, so I'm going to list that. Once I have that in, I'm going to link it so that people can click on that link to get to the mortgage project. So to do so, go ahead and just scroll up. You're going to hover over coursework and then whichever page it happens to be on. That could be a main page like one of these here, or it could be a sub-page like this math one here, or these English courses here. So mine is the math one, so I'm going to hover over the sub-page, right-click, and then I'm going to copy the link address. Then scroll back down and make sure I get back into this box here to work on. Go ahead and highlight your course and assignment, then this button should pop up. Looks like a chain link. Go ahead and click on that, then paste that in, and go ahead and click on the check mark to get that linked. Once that has been linked, you can go ahead and copy it, and you can continue to place this wherever else it's supposed to go. Now we want to make sure that we hit at least 2 of the learning outcomes, and we have our first one, so we need to figure out where our second one is. So I'm going to move on to the next learning outcome, which is developing quantitative literacies. As I read through this, I can see that it says mathematical techniques. It talks about mathematical theory, concepts, and methods of inquiry appropriate to program-specific problems. So that definitely fits my math project, so I'm going to list it right underneath in this spot here. I'm just going to paste it in, and then I can move on to the rest of the learning outcomes. So do this until you've hit all the learning outcomes and have listed it wherever it fits. And then you're going to just continue to add to this list as you place assignments in your ePortfolio throughout your degree. So you likely will not hit all the learning outcomes in one go because different assignments will touch on different learning outcomes. So for example, if you're not taking a lifelong wellness course until the very end of your degree, you probably are not going to have a course that covers this part here, this learning outcome, because that talks about physical activity and fitness and sport or leisure activities. And so if you haven't done that yet, don't worry about it. Just come back later when you have done that assignment for that course, and then you can go ahead and list it underneath. So that wraps it up. Make sure you come back and just list other assignments as you work on your degree. And that's the very last item on this list here. Don't forget to also scroll to the top and publish your work. Do that by clicking on Publish Changes, and if you've published previously, it should just automatically do it for you. If you haven't published previously, you might see something that looks a little bit more like this page here. The most important part is to make sure that you have your privacy settings set so that they are private within Salt Lake Community College. If you click on the edit button, it will show you the options there. Please select either private within Salt Lake Community College, or if you choose to, you can also make it public. But please do not make it private to me, otherwise your professors will not be able to see your ePortfolio. So make your selection and make sure that you are not requiring a password for access, so that should be gray. And for showing in directory, that is optional, so make your selection and then click on Save Settings. Once you're finished, you can go ahead and move on to the next section, which is the coursework page.